Greetings ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here. What up? Update 735 has just hit World of Warcraft, and you know what that means. Scaling has arrived. As you guys know, I've spent the last month or so leveling in World of Warcraft to get to cap for the first time ever for a new player review. For those of you that are here for the first time and thinking, what do you mean new player review? Yes, I haven't played World of Warcraft prior to December 2017, and you can watch my currently ongoing leveling adventures in the playlist I've linked above and below. So, the thing I'm most interested about as a new player is of course the scaling, and how it affects the leveling progression in older zones for new players. The first thing I did after maintenance was to create a new character and jump into the game and see what's up. I made a temporary alliance tune to check out the scaling, but in the future I've got plans to create a horde character to check out 735 in depth. First things first, the map. Level recommendations for the most part have been revamped completely, and now you're able to play up to a higher level ceiling for most zones in the game. The character I made and played with for a couple of hours was a human, and I tried to retrace the footsteps of my review character that was only here doing the same thing a month ago, and this way it helps me keep track of how things are different, as the memory of leveling in the early parts are still pretty fresh. So what's the biggest difference as a new player in 735 at the starter zone? For the first zone or so, not entirely much. Again, without heirlooms, experience gains are pretty standard if you're new, and the biggest difference will start to show the higher your level, as you now have the decision to either stay in a particular zone longer or move on without worrying about XP too much. And if you don't have those account-wide early mounts, you're still gonna be running around on foot, so 735 doesn't speed you up if you're brand new, which is fine. Logging into a mid-level character is probably where you'll notice the biggest changes though, and that's where my review character is currently at, level 86 in Pandaria. After logging in, I was thrilled to find out that I could fly now, after last weekend's stream of moving around on my grounded griffin. That's pretty cool. Now here's where it gets pretty interesting. Even in Pandaria, the zone level ceilings are in place for a lot of them, and I can now just stay in the Jade Forest and get to 89 or 90 here without having to move on. That's cool if you're the sort of player that wants to be a completionist who does all the quest chains and stuff, and if not, you can move on to other zones as well and quest there. It's like I said in a few vlogs back. World of Warcraft does give you that option to choose your zones, drop your quest chains, and find the best or quickest way forward. With 735, that option is somewhat amplified, and you won't be punished too much because there's always going to be XP and item rewards wherever you go that's scaling to your level. Let's talk about landscape mobs. This is where I was really surprised. If you've been watching my leveling streams, you know how easy mobs die in this game. They pose no threat, and within 2 to 3 hits they're dead. It was like that in the vanilla zones and even when I got here in Pandaria. Post-update, however, the mobs have gotten stronger with higher health pools, which results in longer fights. For me at least, it's no longer a face roll, and from a new player perspective, I think it's interesting. For the first time ever, I'm using more than 3 to 4 skills on my hotbar during landscape fights, and I have to be a little more careful now with boss mobs, elites, and overpulling mobs. There still isn't a threat of dying, but it is challenging somewhat, since I've been so used to killing things with my eyes closed. Here's a comparison from last Sunday's stream. Excellent. Who do we got here? There we go, Admiral Tillis right there.
Get closer.
Of course, the big one for me is seeing how the scaling affects dungeons, especially during the leveling journey. So I jumped into a random dungeon queue, and here's what I think. Pretty much the same thing with the landscape. Dungeon trash mobs take longer to kill, and bosses especially can take a while. As far as first impressions go, again, I think this is good for new players because you're getting to experience the dungeons with interesting mechanics and fights that aren't a face roll, and that is really how you'll learn the fights and mechanics. The downside is almost everyone else that isn't a new player is bitching and moaning about how DPS has suddenly dropped, or why things are going slowly, or how they're spending 10 minutes or 15 minutes more in random dungeons, which was supposed to be a quick XP farm for alts and yada yada. I ran a crap ton of randoms last week and I can agree, those were fast. Today after patch I ran 3 in total and 2 of them had people dropping out and leaving because they're just not used to the changes. Valid concerns that, and I understand where they're coming from, which also leads to what I've seen players saying in-game. In my guild, for example, a majority of folks think that the update is great for new players in the sense that it makes leveling not necessarily longer, but more interesting and fun. The cons for them, however, is that this somewhat penalizes a portion of the veteran or older player base that are used to zooming to endgame, I suppose. I've even heard that heirlooms got a nerf of some sort, but I can't verify that. So this really doesn't apply to me because I'm not there yet, I'm not at endgame, I haven't been higher than Mists of Pandaria, but again, I can understand that point of view. And really, the update is so new, I think it's kind of a transition period at the moment, and we'll have to wait and see what the general feedback is from the existing player base about 7.3.5 in the weeks or even months to come. So again, I think it's pretty cool, and I'll let you guys know more thoughts about scaling and the update in general this coming Sunday live on stream, so catch that if you can. In the meantime, for all you World of Warcraft players that have jumped in since the update arrived, what do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Hit the like button if you love food, and hey, if you're new here, I review MMORPGs, so feel free to subscribe to the channel for the upcoming World of Warcraft review, and I'll thank you for your support. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching. Hey, welcome to the end screen. If you've made it this far, it means you've watched the entire video, and I thank you very much for that. If you want to watch more videos, you can click the cards at the bottom here, anyone would do. And you can subscribe to my channel by hitting the big round button here to get notifications on all my latest videos. See you guys in the next video.